Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to look at the McFarlane DC Multiverse, the Grim Knight vs. Killer Croc 2-pack. Now this was ordered from GameStop, and it's not a GameStop exclusive. McFarlane said it would also be available at Target stores later, but it was not available at the McFarlane Toy Store. Finally, an updated version of Grim Knight. That figure is extremely expensive and hard to get. And then a comic version of Killer Croc based off the Arkham version, and he looks fantastic. So let's take a look at the packaging. As you can see at the bottom, DC Multiverse, the Grim Knight vs. Killer Croc. McFarlane Collector's Edition. Here they are in the package. Looks like Grim Knight has a couple guns for his backpack and a couple guns to hold. And then Killer Croc doesn't have any accessories. Looks like I see a couple collector's cards in the background. One side of the package, McFarlane Collector's Edition. The Grim Knight vs. Killer Croc. This is the third Collector's Edition 2-pack. I guess one was Jonah Hex and the horse, the other one was a Batman vs. Superman pack. On the back here, you can see the two of them posed up from the comics, looking excellent. At the bottom, there is a barcode, if that helps anybody. So no further ado, let's open them up. Alright, now that these figures out of the package, here they are with all their accessories laid out. Both the figures come with a display stand and a collector's card. Killer Croc has no traditional accessories whatsoever, and then the Grim Knight has a couple guns to attach to his back, as well as a couple of guns to hold and use. Guns on the DC figure, it's been a while. In this video, we're going to take a look at each of the figures individually. We'll check out their accessories, height, and articulation, and we'll compare them with a bunch of other relevant action figures. Let's start off with the Grim Knight, and we'll save the best for last, which is McFarlane's first comic version of Killer Croc. So here's the Grim Knight. This is Batman of Earth Zero. His origin is very similar to the Batman that we're familiar with. When Bruce Wayne was a kid, Joe Chill killed his parents, Thomas and Martha Wayne, and in the heat of the moment, Joe Chill dropped the gun and Bruce Wayne picked it up and shot Joe Chill to death. Then as he got older, he traveled around the world, learning different martial arts and training to become this vigilante, just like Bruce Wayne we know. But he used all of his skills to pretty much murder and kill anybody he deemed deserving of it. He ended up making enemies of Jim Gordon because he crossed that line, and eventually he was recruited by the Batman Who Laughs to join his team of evil Batmen from the Multiverse. Now the original Grim Knight figure came out in McFarlane's first year, and he's very expensive and sought after at this point. So this 2-pack makes a lot of sense, although one thing I don't know is when did Grim Knight ever interact or fight Killer Croc? To my knowledge, there's no relevant reason to have a 2-pack with both these guys, but there's probably something I'm not aware of. If anyone knows why these guys have a 2-pack, drop me a line in the comments below. It is much appreciated. So let's take a look at Grim Knight. Figure looks really cool. It's almost like a Punisher crossover with Batman. Batman covered in guns and different gear. So start with his head. It's actually pretty good. He has an angry expression, and the cowl is more of a gray color. Semi-short ears, white lenses in the eyes, and sculpting expression in the brow of the cowl. As you go further down, you can see the bat suit below, giant bat symbol. Then he has all this gear on top. He's got a pistol on the side here, all these different sort of magazines, tons and tons of extra ammo. The detailing is very nice. I really like the different colors and the different magazines and clips and all kind of stuff on his harness. He's got the traditional bat fins, although mine are a little bit warped. Should be pretty easy to fix. Double jointed elbows, double jointed knees, looks like combat pants with knives and extra guns all over him, pouches and ammo and everything you could possibly imagine. Like I said, it's pretty much a Punisher crossover with Batman from the Dark Multiverse. And a closer look at his face and head sculpt, which looks good, looks angry. I like the cowl. It's all pretty well done. Now let's check out his accessories. Starting off with the boring stuff. We have his display stand, typical McFarlane display stand we've seen countless times before. And then we have his collector's card. As you can see, it's an image of the Grim Knight standing on a gargoyle of Gotham, and the gargoyle looks like the Batman Who Laughs. On the back side there is a description. If you want to read that, pause now. Now we have his guns. He comes with quite a few of them. So first of all, we have these two guns that will attach to his backpack. You can see the little peg that will insert in the hole in his back. Looks like we have a couple of automatic weapons here and a couple more here. This guy is decked out and loaded with weapons. We also have this sort of submachine gun, a little on the smaller side of things. It looks pretty good. Good sculpt. Although the paint job being one color, could be a little better. And then we have this grenade launcher. Could be a very useful accessory for the action figure collection. All of his weapons look very nice, and I'll put them to really, really good use. Here's a look at Batman with those guns attached to his back. And then here he is holding that grenade launcher, which he can hold with either one hand or with two. And then here's the Grim Knight holding that submachine gun. Now to check out the differences, similarities, and reuse between the original Dark Knight's Metal Grim Knight figure and this new 2-pack version. It is the same base body, but the paint job is way better on the new one. So let's take a closer look. Start with their heads. Now the heads are a different sculpt. You can see his mouth is shut, and he's got the angry, sort of open mouth. Then the cowl is done in sort of a gray color. In fact, the whole batsuit is. On the new one, the original one is black. He has the same sort of harness and magazines and bullets and all that stuff, but his paint job is so much better than the new one. Brown straps, little silver, some black, and his is just pure black. The arms, once again, the batsuit is gray versus black. The fins and gauntlets look a little bit different. We have kind of a silver here, black with silver sort of tips. The combat pants, kind of gray here, they're pretty much black. So some significant paint differences. Even the little fins on the boots look a little different. I'm just very impressed with the new guy's paint job on the strap. That makes a huge difference and looks a lot better. I think I prefer the black batsuit, but as a whole I prefer the new figure because just that detail is so nice here. You could definitely probably do some part swapping and kind of make the best of both worlds if you wanted to. Now that we've taken a pretty good look at the figure and its accessories, let's check out his height. From bottom to the top of his head, standing about 7.1 inches tall, which can translate to around 18 centimeters. And if you go to the top of the ears, about 7.3 inches tall. And for his articulation, starting with his head, of course, it can rotate side to side. He can look up, not too much, down a little bit more. He can tilt his head from one side to the other. Shoulders on a ball joint, goes up more than 90 degrees. Up, down, around. He's got this butterfly ring between his shoulder and chest, increasing the range of motion and covering the large gap that would be there. Bicep cut below that. Double jointed elbows. His wrist can rotate and it's hinged as well. In his torso, he's got a ball joint. Rotate around, forward and back. Another one is waist. Rotate around, forward and back. Between the two, pretty good range of motion in the torso. You get more out of the torso than the waist on this guy. Legs, they only go out about this far. A little bit obstructed by the guns and different stuff on his belt. McFarlane style hip joints. Rotation, it's minimal at best. Legs go forward. Really not that much. A little bit more if you go to the side, but once again, not a lot. Back, not at all. Double jointed knees. And his ankle. Forward and back, and you can see those old, ugly style ball joints. Very much disconnects the sculpt there, but this is a figure from 5+ years ago. Rotate, tilt, rock, and toe articulation. Here's a look at the Grim Knight next to the main Dark Knight's Metal team. These are all Bruce Wayne from different various Dark Multiverse worlds. They all have sort of a hybrid identity of Batman who stole someone else's powers. These all work for the Batman Who Laughs, and I believe they all work for Barbados under him. We have Dawnbreaker, Murder Machine, Devastator, Grim Knight, the Batman Who Laughs, Merciless, Drowned, and Red Death. And here's the extended Dark Knight's Metal Evil Batman family. Every single one of these guys in front of you is Bruce Wayne from the Dark Multiverse, except for those Robin Crows. Now let's look at Killer Croc. His real name is Waylon Jones, and he was just a person with a disease that had given him scaly skin and kind of made him resemble a crocodile. But over the years, he's got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and more lizard and crocodile-like. A little bit less like the realistic, tragic Batman villain that he originally was. This is McFarlane's first comic version of Killer Croc. They made Croc from the video game Arkham Asylum, and it was a great figure. And this guy is mostly reused from that, but I think he looks great, so let's take a closer look. So, start with his face here. One eye is a little bit larger than the other. It's like he is kind of giving you that, I don't know, look with the eye sort of cocked up. You can see his teeth. It would be really cool if he had a hinged jaw, but he does not. Green, scaly skin. The sculpt is fantastic and very intricate. The paint job is also pretty good. It's not just one color green, it's not just two colors green. We have some light, some dark, and some blending between. He does have single jointed elbows, double jointed knees. He's got sort of jeans ripped, cut off at the bottom. He's got long toenails. Same with the fingernails. Really impressed with the sculpt in this guy. It is top notch and excellent. And even his pants, good amount of texturing going on there. Very well done. And a closer look at his face and head sculpt. The sculpt is good. Paint job's good. The left eye being more open than the right eye definitely bothers me. Looks like it's a mistake. I don't think it is. If anyone out there can let me know if their Croc looks like this as well. And I guess it does, because it sure looks like the brow above is quite a bit more risen on the left side. It just looks a little weird. And it's not like there's no eye painted. I know you can't see it on the camera very well, but it's definitely in there. It's just smaller than the other one. But I do think the sculpt and paint job for the most part is great. Look at the teeth. Look at that mouth. So cool and so well done. Now for his accessories. He doesn't have any traditional accessories, and I don't really know what he should come with, besides maybe a little alligator tie-in or a big pipe to hit somebody with. I'm okay with him having no accessories. We have the McFarlane display stand. Same old one we've seen plenty of times before. And the collector's card, and as you can see, it's Killer Croc with Batman in the background from the comics. On the back, there is a description. If you want to read that, pause now. Now to check out the reuse, differences and similarities between this comic Killer Croc and the Arkham Asylum version. Now, they do utilize the same base body, but have some significant differences at the same time. Now, the head sculpt is actually completely different. They're similar, but totally different. The mouth is different, the scales at the top, so it's a totally different head. And I would say the torso area, to my surprise, is also different. You can see his scales here, they're a bunch of larger squares, and his is quite a bit different. The front here is a bunch of smaller stuff, and even the top part looks different to me. You can see at the back, his scales stick up a little bit more prominent. His are a little more subtle. I believe the stomach to be exactly the same. It looks to me like the bicep is the same. And then the forearm here is obviously different, as he's got this sort of, I don't know, wrist shackle thing. The hands look to be the same to me. The diaper area looks to be the same. The top of the legs is the same, and then the bottom part is different. He's got the shackle. He's got the shorter pants. And I'd say the feet are the same. So, upon first glance, when they teased this figure, I thought, they just repainted the Arkham Asylum one. But there's significantly more than that going on. This is now the third Killer Croc figure to utilize this base body. We have the original Arkham Asylum version, this comic 2-pack version, and then the glow-in-the-dark Arkham Asylum version. Now that we've taken a pretty good look at the figure and his lack of accessories, let's check out his height. From bottom to the top of his head, standing about 9.25 inches tall, which can translate to about 23.5 centimeters. And for his articulation. Starting with his head, of course, it can rotate side to side. He can look up, really not at all, down at least a little bit. Can tilt his head the tiniest bit from side to side. Shoulders on a ball joint, goes out more than I expected, a little bit more than 90 degrees. Up, down, around. He's got a single jointed elbow. Goes in about 90 degrees. And it has rotation. Mine is quite stiff, and that'll offset the lack of bicep cut here. His wrists can rotate, and it's hinged as well. In his torso, he's got a ball joint. Rotate around. Forward and back, really not at all. Another ball joint in his waist. Rotate around. Forward and back, more there. Between the two, good range of motion. I'd say you get probably more out of the waist than the torso on him. Legs, complete as splits, McFarlane style hip joints. Rotation is pretty good on him. The legs go forward and about that far. Back, not much. He does have double jointed knees. They go back all the way. And then his ankle, forward and back. Tilt and rock. He has no rotation. You get a little bit in the hip there. And toe articulation. Now let's check them out. Next is some other Killer Croc figures. Here are all three of McFarlane's Killer Croc mega figures. I wouldn't mind seeing McFarlane do sort of a hush version of Killer Croc with more lizard-like features, the long snout and the tail. I think they would do an excellent one of those. And let's not forget that McFarlane also made a Killer Croc from the new Batman Adventures. And here he is, next to all of my DC Direct and DC Collectibles Killer Croc figures. Then, next to all of my Mattel Killer Croc figures. Next, with an older Kenner Killer Croc figure. And now, with a couple of Fury Planet Wilderness Croc figures. I use these for Killer Croc. And here, next to an Amazing Spider-Man 2 Lizard figure. I also use this guy for Killer Croc in my collection. Then, with a NECA Ninja Turtles Leatherhead figure. There's a large crocodile. Can't really use him for Killer Croc, but he stays in my Killer Croc collection nonetheless. And here, with Mattel Wrestling Bray Wyatt as sort of an alligator. Here's a look at my entire Killer Croc collection. I believe I have all of them in the 6 and 7 inch scale. And plenty of figures that aren't Killer Croc that I kind of throw in my collection. And here's Killer Croc, next to a bunch of alligator or crocodile figures. Here's a look at Grim Knight and Killer Croc in the Gotham City sewers, surrounded by alligators. Now let's check them out. Next is some action figures from different various companies, so we can see how they fit in, both scale and style-wise, in case you want to know which lines you can mix them with. Since they're McFarlane toys, they're typically the 7 inch scale. Even though Killer Croc is over 9 inches tall, he's still a 7 inch scale action figure. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of the larger action figure lines I collect, and work way smaller. But first, let's check them out next to some other McFarlane Toys brothers. In front of you are 5 different action figure lines, all McFarlane Toys, all 7 inch scale, and now, with some Jack-specific wrestling figures, and some Diamond Select toys. Here they are, next to a container of drill bits. And here they are, with some DC Direct and NECA figures. Then, with both some Mattel and Jazzwares wrestling figures. And now, with some Mezco and Mattel DC figures. Next, with some Mafex and Hasbro Marvel Legends. And finally, with some SH Figuarts and Jazzwares Fortnite figures. So overall, it's a really cool Grim Knight and Killer Croc 2-pack. The Grim Knight has a better paint job than the original, although I think I prefer the black Batman suit. But this one is an improvement over the last one for sure. Plus the last one being so expensive, it makes perfect sense to re-release them. And then Killer Croc. Even though it's on the Arkham Asylum base buck, this is their first comic Killer Croc, and I love him. I think he is great. I'm not really feeling the one eye being sort of cocked open larger than the other one, but it is what it is. If I were to rate these figures, well, Grim Knight, ton of accessories, great paint job. The articulation is everything you expect, except for his wrists and ankle joints are a little bit dated. And Killer Croc here, no accessories, great sculpted paint job, articulation, good but not great. A lot of time in the mega figures, they don't have double joints on everything, and same is true for Croc, but it's an excellent Killer Croc figure. If I were to rate these guys, I give them both an 8 out of 10. It's a really nice action figure 2-pack. Both figures are great. Even though a lot of reuse, excellent addition to the collection. McFarlane is really getting almost all the Bat Rogues from the comics. At this point, we need a comic version of Poison Ivy, Black Mask, Mad Hatter, Ventriloquist, and Scarface. They're really doing a nice job of filling in the Bat Rogues from the comics, both modern and classic. So this is D Hunter. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say about the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.